With the new April Fool's event out for War Thunder, the number one question that many people will ask is what are they testing out whenever it comes to the April Fool's event? It's one of the common things that we normally see whenever it comes to April Fool's is, what is Gaijin wanting to put into War Thunder in the future? And at least for this go around, it's Mad Thunder, which is just a spin on like Mad Max meets Escape from Tarkov meets Death Stranding, I believe was the best way to put this event, because basically what you do is you're a UPS driver that drives around trying to get some supplies. And whenever you see a FedEx man going around, which is your arch nemesis, you just shoot him up and then you go and try to extract. And it's kind of like Tarkov in a way because you're trying to save the resources that you got throughout that match. Now, I know that's a huge exaggeration on what this event is, but to me at least, that's the best way to describe it. It's basically a UPS job where you're just traveling the map for the majority of the time, and then sometimes you see somebody, you shoot them, you will go steal their stuff, and then you will go be extract camped because it's just like Escape from Tarkov, of where some people have no skill, so the only thing that they can do is just go sit where people have to get out at, and then you're able to kill them and then steal their stuff. So basically, that's just how this event kind of goes whenever it comes to the Mad Thunder event for War Thunder. Now, the reason people think that this event is testing out something is because in the past War Thunder events, they were testing out stuff. I mean, it's kind of just a given at this point of War Thunder sometimes uses these events to test out new mechanics, they test out new equipment, and then they also test out, just how people feel about different things. So in the past April Fool's event, like in 2017, we had the Rank 9 event, which was testing out stuff like the Leopard 2A5 and as well as the T90, and we also seen helicopters, which then came to War Thunder in the future. So in this event, it could be basically the same thing. If you want a recent April Fool's event that was testing out something, it was the Children of Arrakis event, which means that they were testing out spike missiles, which now are on some of the vehicles whenever it comes to War Thunder. Now for the Mad Thunder event, I don't think that they're testing out like huge amount of things. I think if anything, they're testing out a bunch of small things that maybe will be added to War Thunder in the future, but I don't think there's anything massive. Like there's nothing like, rank 10 aircraft or, rank 10 ground forces. To me at least, it's just a bunch of stuff that maybe will come in the future that kind of just spices up War Thunder a little bit or just makes the quality of life of the game just a little bit better. So for the first thing that I know for sure that they're testing out within this Mad Thunder event is the crafting event. So if you didn't know, there's a crafting event within this. It's really dumb, it's very repetitive, and I don't think I'm even going to do it or even try to attempt it. But at the same time, you do have to admit that they're testing this sort of stuff out. Now you may be like, dog, they said that they're not doing any more crafting events. That is true. Well, it is kind of true. But if you read the fine print of whenever they said that, they were saying that they will no longer do it in that style of crafting event. So the differences between this one and a old crafting event is there's no vehicle reward within this one. So I guess it's a little bit better, but still at the same time, it is something that they're testing out, and possibly in the future we see it, introduced in different ways of just crafting event. I don't think crafting events in general are the worst thing in War Thunder ever, but I do think if they're implemented poorly, which they were whenever it came to the events where you had to get vehicles out of them, it can be a little bit of a problem. But if it's just for like decals or cosmetics or skins or transmogs or something like that, I don't really have an issue with crafting events, which I think honestly this one's completely okay. The only thing about it is that it's very long and it's very repetitive, and I don't personally see myself doing it at all. The second thing they are for sure testing is new sights. So if you didn't know, in the roadmap I do believe they released it, they said they would introduce more modern sights. Now for some people they think that's going to be just like MBTs or stuff like that. But you gotta also remember that some of the SPAA units that we have within the game are pretty modern, like the Yestervark, the Bosvark, and all that sort of stuff. So in this one, we do have some new AI sites. And for me at least, I'm not a huge fan of them. They're a little bit different. If you look at the Porcupine, which will be the easiest one to kind of show you what the differences is, it's basically a site that is kind of, looking through the lens of what the site would look like in real life. I'm not a huge fan of it. Hopefully, whenever they do introduce this sort of thing, that's just something that you can opt into if you want more of like a realism, stance on it. But whenever it comes to this, I personally don't really like it, and I hope they at least give us options whenever it comes to if we want these sites enabled or we want them disabled. Now I do understand that people are going to be upset about this because, well, for one, if you're using this site, you're just clearly at a disadvantage because you would have bushes in your way and all that sort of stuff. So it's one of those things that's kind of like a thing that people will talk about. People talk about it now, even of just how you can turn off grass whenever it comes to looking down the sight of your gun right now. So honestly, it's a thing that you're testing out just to see kind of like probably what the reaction is of them. But for me at least, I'm not a huge fan of it, and hopefully we get freedom of choice to if we want to enable these sites or if we want to disable them. Even if they reduce like the zoom or something to where it's more even playing field with them, I would completely mind that and just have the site that we've had for 10 years now whenever it comes to War Thunder, and that would be my ideal thing to happen with this. Now this is a bit of a stretch, but at the same time it seems to be something that they are testing, which is testing out new game mode objectives. Now I know this is a stretch, right? But if you look at this game mode, which is Mad Thunder, what are we doing? We're extracting stuff, we're going and collecting stuff. It feels like something that would be a new type of like game mode objective that we could possibly do within a real battle. Now I do realize for right now at least it kind of makes no sense to be just collecting scrap and just bringing it to an extract and trying to get it out. But imagine if you replace the scrap with like infantry or people who are like stuck behind enemy lines or something. You're able to get them out of the game or get them out of the map and extract with them, and then you're given some cool stuff. Maybe it's some extra RP and SL, maybe it's some points towards like cast aircraft or something like that, and it makes it just like you have like a dynamic objective that you can go after. It means that you don't have to do it, but you do get some like small to like medium-sized advantages if you do. And then also you could actually do it to where like you just have like a light tank, and if you're able to go collect an objective and get like some intel and then bring it back to an extract, maybe you're able to get like a UAV or someone to come in and show you where some of the enemies are at on the battlefield, which means that you can just be a better scout. Honestly, I'm not opposed to this sort of idea. It seems very cool that there could be some side objectives. I know the game Enlisted had some of this sort of stuff where you could shoot like balloons and get rid of some of the respawn points that the enemy had, or even get some more respawn points. So honestly, just side objectives like testing them out within a real battle would be something pretty cool to actually see within War Thunder. So the third thing that they are 100% testing is damage models of wheeled vehicles. If you've not noticed, whenever you're shooting at the wheels of these vehicles within this game mode, the wheels pop off, and they also, kind of show you that you've damaged them in a way. Honestly, this is probably a really good change. Hopefully they put this into the live game, because one huge issue that I've always had with wheeled vehicles is knowing when I'm damaged and when I'm not. So if you look at your little radar thing at the bottom like left corner, I do believe, you can see that your wheels are damaged, but I would love a visual representation of your wheels just completely gone or something to show you that you need to, repair, or, you need to get back in the cover or something, because I know it's something that's incredibly annoying for me, at least, of just not knowing, the damage of my vehicle. It makes a lot of sense that the wheels could pop off, or, that you're riding on the rim and all sorts of stuff. And honestly, this would just be a great quality of life update for wheeled vehicles in general. So the final thing that I think they're testing is dynamic weather effects. So we do have dynamic weather whenever it comes to War Thunder. If you've ever been playing a game and your lighting just randomly changes, or you see the clouds just randomly disappear, that can happen within the game. The thing that War Thunder doesn't have, though, is that you don't have a random like snowstorm come in, or you don't have a random sandstorm come in that kind of blocks your view and also gives you like a different way to play the game. A lot of games have been trying this out lately. With Battlefield 2042, I do believe there's like a tornado or something. Like I don't think there will ever be any silliness like that, but there could possibly stuff like a hurricane come in, or like a sandstorm, or we could see stuff like like a blizzard come in. Like I think that'd be pretty cool to see. Now at the same time, I do feel like, just like I'm talking about this from my experience of playing War Thunder, anything that is annoying is not fun. And I don't know how they can balance this to not be just annoying to some vehicles. Like for example, if we look at like the battle rating of like 8.0 to 9.0, there's a lot of vehicles within that battle rating range that just do not have thermals. So what happens if you get a sand map where it's just a sandstorm, and one enemy team has a bunch of nations which have thermal equipped vehicles, which you can just see straight through that sort of stuff, and some vehicles just don't have them, and they're kind of just blind whenever it comes to that match. Honestly, it's one of those things that could be a double-edged sword. It can be very cool to see, but at the same time, if it's annoying, then why even add it? So that's all that I think that War Thunder is testing in this April Fool's event. If you have anything else that you think they're testing, add it in the comments, because maybe I've forgotten something, or maybe I just didn't notice something from playing this event whenever it comes to this. I did put in probably like 3 to 5 games of just determining kind of what this event is about. And honestly, guys, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's like I said at the beginning, it's like your UPS driver driving around a map trying to just get your cargo extracted, and then you have the random Amazon Prime delivery driver at the extract, and he just yoinks all your packages, and then he gets to extract with them and then get all the stuff for it. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of it. If I want to play an extraction shooter, or not an extraction shooter, but an extraction game in general, I'll just go play Tarkov. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but overall, I do feel like it is worthy of talking about, what this, game mode or game is actually about. So hope everyone has a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys in the next War Thunder video.